So guys, today we are going to be reacting to his story. His story. The new famous YouTuber who makes story. Let's start with the first one.
I was hunting elk in the woods when I heard something whimpering under the snow. I dug 10 minutes and pulled out a pup, eyes barely open, ribs showing, too cold to shake. I wrapped him in my flannel and carried him 3 miles back to my cabin, hidden inside my jacket against my chest. He was barely breathing when I got home. I warmed milk and fed him drop by drop from an eyedropper until his tongue started moving. He slept on my chest that night, and every night after. Another hour, and he'd have been dead. 6 months later, I took him in for his shots. The vet asked his breed, and I said he was a husky somebody dumped. He walked me into a back room and shut the door. That's not a husky. That's a northwestern gray wolf, maybe 200 left in this country. He slept in my lap on the way home with my hand on his head, and I never told a soul. I raised him like he was my own kid. 2 winters later, 3 trucks pulled up my driveway, and 3 men in camo got out with rifles. The lead one walked up to my porch like he owned it. Got a tip you've been hiding something up here. Where is it? I stepped outside and pulled the door shut behind me. There's no animal. He laughed. Come on, man. We know exactly what you got. That thing's worth 40 grand to a trophy hunter and we'll cut you in. I told him to get off my property. He held up a folded paper. State signed off on it, friend. Ain't your pet? It's a wild animal. I didn't move. He cocked his rifle and aimed it at my chest. We're walking out with that thing. Don't matter if you're standing there or not. That's when the door behind me flung open and 120 pounds of white fur came through it with his teeth already showing. He launched himself at the lead hunter. The rifle went flying into the porch ceiling while my boy held him down and opened his jaws. I closed my eyes as the hunter started screaming. The other 2 hunters dropped their rifles and ran. I opened my eyes. The lead hunter dragged himself away, missing a couple fingers off his shooting hand. He walked back to me, snow and blood on his mouth, and pushed his head into my hand. I'd spent 3 years thinking I was protecting him, but he'd been waiting for his turn to return the favor. He still sleeps on my chest every night, and nobody comes up that mountain to bother us anymore. I was hunting elk in the woods
For that one, I'm going to give it a because he was kind. He was kind. The wolf saved him, and the characters were really nice. I'm going to give that a 9. Let's go to the next one.
I was chipping a rare gem out of a cave wall in the Amazon rainforest when a tribe dropped down from the surface, circling me with daggers pointed at my chest. I threw my hands up, my heart hammering. My father spent his whole life hunting this gem and never found it, and now I had to make it out alive with this gem to complete his dying wish. I pulled out my phone and showed them a picture of the gem, hoping they'd let me go, but they started screaming in a language I couldn't understand and jabbing their daggers at my face like I offended them. I'm just here for the gem, I swear, but 2 warriors ripped my backpack off my shoulders. No, my gear, my samples. Then they slammed me to the ground as their shaman lifted my father's rare gem into a beam of light, glowing, shifting from milky white to deep violet, and the whole tribe dropped to their knees. That's when I realized they worshipped the stone because it glowed. So I dropped to my knees too and bowed at the gem, praying it would save me. But they all looked at me with disgust, yanking me up by my hair, furious that an outsider dared bow to their god. I begged, but they dragged me out of the cave, through the forest, and into their village, where a stone altar sat stacked with kindling. They forced me to my knees on top of it and tossed my backpack onto the pile beside me. When they raised their torches, it hit me. They were going to burn me alive, and I'd die without ever completing my father's wish. The torches dropped, and flames roared up around my knees. Then I remembered how their gem glowed, and it gave me the craziest idea. My UV flashlight could make my own stone samples glow the exact same way. So I lunged for the bag with shaking hands, and the tribe roared, shoving their torches into the kindling and pressing their daggers against my back. I grabbed the flashlight and a fistful of stones anyway, and swept the light over them as the flames climbed higher. They glowed and shifted from white to violet, the same glow as their god, and the whole tribe froze, then dropped to their knees in worship. Not for the stone this time, but for me, their new rock god. They doused the flames and pressed their sacred gem into my hands as a peace offering. My father never found it, while I walked out a rock god holding it. I was chipping a rare gem out of a cave.
That one, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Yeah. And I'm going to the next video.
Stop
My phone buzzed. Congratulations, you've been cast on our dating game show. I instantly called my brother. I'm finally getting a girlfriend. He laughed. Yeah, right, you're 600 pounds. You've been single for your entire 40-year-old life. I hung up because I was ready to finally prove everyone wrong and get a girl. 2 weeks later, I walked into the villa and 10 of the most gorgeous people I'd ever seen were by the pool. The host spread his arms wide. Everybody, welcome your newest bombshell. I strutted down the steps, popped my collar, and hit the girls with my best Sigma face. But the whole line of baddies burst out laughing so hard they were crying. I kept smiling because I figured they were laughing with me. The host squeezed my fat roll. Ladies, which one of you wants to steal him for a date? Every girl went completely still. I scratched my head in confusion, but I figured they were just playing hard to get, until the blonde in the red bikini pointed at me. Babe, no offense, but this is a dating show, not a cooking show. A cameraman snorted behind his lens, and I completely froze, because I realized they cast me to be the punchline, and 40 years of being single was about to turn into 41. My heart broke in my chest, and I turned to walk out, because I felt like a lost cause. But on the way out, I saw the buffet table, the open bar, and the infinity pool, so I made a decision. If I was the joke, I was going to be a joke with a mimosa. I loaded a plate with lobster tails and ate them in the hot tub, while the cast screamed at each other over some guy named Braden. After just an hour, I was on plate number 8, dipping unlimited chicken nuggets straight into the chocolate fountain. They flew me out to be laughed at, but I was the only person in that house having a good time. On the last night, the host asked if I'd found what I was looking for. I popped my collar and hit the Sigma face one more time. Best vacation of my life. My phone buzzed. Congratulations, you've been cast.
That was crazy. That was crazy. For this one, going to get a 9.7. Yeah.
When I came home with my adopted son, he instantly ran to hide under the table. Take cover! I gently walked over and patted his back. It's okay, son. That was just a car engine, not a bomb. There's no war here, don't worry. He kept shaking, and I had no idea how I was going to help him heal from his trauma. But that night, I heard a laugh coming from the inside of his room, and when I peered inside, I saw him crouched over a tiny animal. He saw me standing behind him and turned around. Dad, look, I found a hamster. It's my friend, and his name is Mr. Nibbles. He teaches me I don't need to be scared. Another car passed by, but this time my son sat perfectly still. I breathed a sigh of relief because I thought for sure that he'd somehow found the cure to his PTSD. But 4 months later, I walked into my son's room to feed Mr. Nibbles, and he was curled up in the shavings, not breathing. I felt my heart break, and I was still thinking about how to tell my son when I heard footsteps in the doorway. He instantly ran over to the cage. Are you feeding Mr. Nibbles without me? He grabbed the hamster, and his face immediately dropped. But before I could say anything, he gently patted my back. It's okay, Dad. He stroked the gray fur with one finger. I'm glad I got to be his friend, even if it was only for a little while. For weeks I'd been wondering how to comfort my 6-year-old son, and now he was comforting me. We buried Mr. Nibbles by the fence, and when a car passed by, he laughed. Why was I so scared before? When I came home with my
That is crazy. I guess I can give him a Juna 10 out of 10. And guys, that's the end of our video for today. Have fun.